All right, everybody, it's me and Greg back in the house talking about House of the Dragon season 3. We're on episode 3 right now. We try to do watch alongs and reactions and then talk about this stuff afterwards, but we had the World Cup going on, busy schedule with that. We had like an important game that everybody wanted to be a part of and react to that. But right now, we're here to talk about House of the Dragon, man. How you been doing, Greg?
Good. Just anticipating episode 3 to see if it can keep the momentum going or if it would take a lackluster little dip because basically episode 1 and 2 are kind of like the ending of that last season, and this was kind of like the beginning of the new story. So I wanted to see how it would play out and see if it kind of uptick the momentum or if it kind of like just fizzled a little bit and went down and got the season started.
Yeah, like one thing to actually, speak on at least a little bit here is that the fact that because of the weird way that season 2 had to end because of the strike that was going on and everything else that was happening around it, we ended up getting like a shortened season, and it really feels like that the first 2 episodes we got was really what probably was supposed to happen for you know, the last season.
Yeah.
Like this was basically like the kickoff. Like if this was the first episode of actual season 3, and I actually felt like it kind of did go that way a little bit. Like, I mean, did you actually feel this way? Like after watching the episode, did you feel like the first 2 episodes, should have been like the end of season 2, and this is like literally the first episode of like season 3?
Yeah, because it felt like it was just introducing like Rhaenyra as queen in charge of everything, right? It just kind of like was more of a like subdued kind of episode, kind of like taking you on a journey of like basically Daemon had mentioned it. What kind of ruler is she gonna be, and kind of give the insides of like how her thinking's gonna be overall, and some problems you had to deal with right away.
Yeah, because I like totally agree with that. Because when you look at it, it was like, say, if season 2 would have ended with her actually going over there, basically taking the throne with Daemon, a couple of little badass little moments that they had there, and then like you started season 3 with this episode, it would make perfect sense. Like, oh, this is how Rhaenyra is having to deal with everything that's going
Yeah.
on and around her, and it being chaotic and all this stuff. With that being said, though, one positive, I guess you could say, with like how things laid out was the first 2 episodes, and then this one being back to back.
Hmm.
If we would have had to wait, say, like a year in between, or maybe even 2 years in between the seasons, it would have. This really kind of shoved the K. Like, so they just win the crown and they go right into the next episode, and she's having all these things already being asked of her, as queen and stuff, and
Hmm.
she's not prepared. So in some ways, this kind of helped this episode because when you have all that chaotic stuff going on at the same time, like what just happened in front of us, when we watched the episode, the yeah, I actually totally agree that like it actually helps a little bit because it's
Yeah.
like boom, she just got the throne and now she's having to do all this stuff. Uh, so it may have helped in a way this actual thing that we feel like should have been the first episode of the season 3.
Yeah, definitely. And it kind of starts off with a situation between Damon and I forgot homie's name at the High Tower.
Big
Um,
high tower.
yeah, the big sniffer. You got, I don't know, he's on drugs or what. We saw him sniffing some stuff earlier.
No, you know what? I realized
Huh. Smelling
he
salts
was
was he
sniffing.
on?
No, he was sniffing something because that one guy smelled so damn bad.
Oh, okay.
That one guy smelled like shit, so he was trying to like cover it up with some perfume or some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's just how it goes. But that was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Hey, Dilly in the
But
house.
but yeah, with hey, yeah, hey, Adelia. But with that being said, we do have the code open, like you were just talking about, where uh we had everything going on with Daemon and like the big high tower, the leader of the army there that was marching down to try to get himself involved in some shenanigans.
Hmm.
Uh they obviously show up with 3 dragons. It's like, hey bro, turn that little buggy around, go on back to Old Town, and
Hmm.
we'll just forget everything happened. Just all you gotta do is bow, uh bend the knee, and basically say, hey, I'm giving up. I'm gonna respect the queen and everything else, and you can go home. Big man does it because he realizes, like, bro, he ain't got no chance in hell. His army's out in the open.
Yeah.
It one signal by Damon, and like their whole army's gone just by breath of fire, like in a few minutes. So he does all the stuff he's supposed to do. He goes to walk away, and Daemon's like, nah, nah, nah. I forgot one thing. We need our kin that has the little dragon in the background there. You can see that little small dragon. That dragon ain't got a chance in hell against any of these other dragons. Like, that dragon's pretty damn small that they have in their kind of army, because they do have, the one Targaryen technically that was sent down in season 2, if I'm not mistaken. That's what they were sent down to grow up. Well, that being said, that there is something. I'm going to let you talk. Give your thoughts about just that moment, what happened there. I do have a critique on this section that I don't particularly like. I like the scene overall, but there's something that doesn't happen that should have happened that just like makes some of the things that happen later on kind of look dumb. But before I say any of that, what did you think about that actual section?
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be easy win, chalk it up to Daemon and the crew. Just getting the Hightower to yield and go ahead and turn over, which I think is, I forgot all about Homie, to be honest with you. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about you. Like, he's Viserys' youngest, and he would have a claim to the throne, being the heir. So he is a little bit of a threat, and he's turned over pretty easily. So I'm just like, seems like I didn't snap, like my spidey sense didn't go off that like this is too easy situation, and ultimately there's a kind of a payoff at the end that I don't know if we talk about it now, but it kind of I have mixed.
We can talk about it in any order, man. We're just talking about the episode.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about the payoff, but it was interesting the way it all planned out. So it was a little bit too easy, and then obviously we have the little plot twist at the end of what actually happened, and we'll figure out from there in the next episode what goes down from there.
Right. Here's my problem with it, and maybe when I say it, Greg, you're going to be like, oh, didn't really think about that, but this obviously makes sense. My problem with it is it makes the character Daemon my favorite character so far right now on the show. I liked Otto Hightower, even though he was a bastard, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like him being killed, so I knew he was going to die, but I didn't like him being, he didn't really do anything in this season.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Daemon, he's my favorite character now on the show, 100%. Yeah. Interested in seeing what he does and all that. Norway. It's done by a great actor. Yeah. But done by a great actor. It looks like the Norwegian soccer player, to be honest with you. But it was a simple fact of, bro, if you took your nephew, right? Or what? Yeah, I think he would be like a nephew or something. You know, the Targaryens are, whatever. They do incest, so it's hard to tell like what kind of, but they're kin to each other. Yeah. If you take him, he has a dragon. The first thing that he should have did would be like, oh, go hop on your dragon. Let's get out of here. You can fly back home with us. If he says that, the whole ruse is over because Home 2 can't get on the dragon.
Yeah.
So that whole fake Targaryen thing, like I said, we can go ahead and talk about it. It don't matter if we talk about it necessarily in order. Yeah. I just, we'll do freeform discussion. But like, the thing is, bro, if all he does is do that whole thing at the end that you're talking about, like where we find out that like this ain't the real Targaryen.
Yeah.
Like, is mute. And that would have been a easy, common thing for the character to do. That would have been something like, I think Daemon would have been smart enough to be like, hey, why are we leaving a dragon? Why is he even leaving? I know the dragon's small, right? Like it's way smaller. He probably doesn't feel like it's going to be an important dragon.
Right?
Yeah, but it ain't going to be an important like dragon to possibly keep around. Like you can try to explain this away with Daemon kind of just, this dragon's a little puny dragon ass dragon. We don't need it. Like kind of situation maybe because right now they have they're their favorites because they have more dragons right now at this moment. So it looks like they have the upper hand. So maybe you could try to explain it away with that. I just thought it was really stupid that Daemon didn't be like, hey, dog, go get on your dragon. Come on down. Fly with us.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
You know what I'm saying? Because he couldn't have got, if that was a fake, that's also a good way to test for a fake. Because if it ends up being that he is a fake. So good, I guess, plot devices or the writing was like, well, good thing we wrote Daemon to be really stupid at this moment because literally if he just says that, the ruse is over.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. And Another thing that happens at the end of this episode that we find out that ends up happening. Guess what would happen if you called their ruse? Daemon burns everybody that's there at that army.
Yeah, you know,
Right? So
yeah.
the bad thing that happens at the end of the episode, right, with Tumbleton, I think it is, like, doesn't even happen either, because not only would you have found out with that one phrase of, hey, go get on your dragon, you would have actually, like, found out that dude's a fake, and at the same time, you would have found out that they were trying to, like, hurt you by, like, being sneaky or whatever.
Yeah. I wouldn't have,
I mean,
I personally wouldn't have thought of that either to do that, but that's a good point for sure. My problem is I just don't really care about that Targaryen. The most interesting thing about this whole scenario was the dilemma Rhaenyra had to face, whether to kill him or not. Like her whole internal struggle about killing a child and having to, you know, the struggle
yeah,
about.
we know nothing about this kid, right? Like,
Yeah, I could
really
care
nothing.
less. Like I just don't really care at all. And now it sets up like the real Targaryen has to do something for me. He has to be something important. He can't just, you
Well,
know,
to me, I would assume, because I think at the end of the episode when they were talking about the Tumbleton town,
yeah.
like, they literally talk about, like, if I'm not mistaken, like a dragon, like, going through there burning stuff down. That to me would say that he's out there riding the dragon. The real Targaryen's out there riding the dragon, burning shit down. That's going to cause the issue.
Yeah, he has to play a big part now because otherwise, like the whole ruse didn't realize like if he just easily like subdued or easily just not a part of the storyline, it just really doesn't. It falls apart for me. It really doesn't make any like impact whatsoever, other than the whole dilemma over Rhaenyra and her evolution of what she's going to be as a queen. Uh, that's the only interesting part about that up to this point. So if you tell me the next episode, you know, he's shown like you say, like he burned down the town and everything, and now he's being a force to be reckoned with, and he, you know, him and the Hightower are going, you know, setting up as a duo to foil in this whole season. Then okay, I understand why the ruse was played in the first place, and he's an important chess piece to this whole season.
Yeah.
But if he's just wasted, like then I just really just don't care less about that whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so you had that, but then we had Rhaenyra. She gets in there, and it's like basically the chaos of becoming
Mhm.
like a
Yeah.
queen. All these people now are asking her a bunch of questions and wanting her to do things. We find out she's basically disbanded her like small council. So the only thing she has is the hand of the queen, which is um, crap. I keep forgetting his name, but is Corlys or whatever. The sand snake, or the what is it? Anyway, the sea snake.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
Corlys?
yeah, Corlys. I said his name wrong. I knew I was going to say his name wrong. But you had Corlys, right? So he's still the hand of the queen. You got the guy that was with the Golden Company that kind of saved their ass at the end of episode 2. He's still kind of there, and he's almost basically part of her Queen's Guard, it would seem. But she don't have a full Queen's Guard. It's just like basically him, and he's using his men to like take care of certain things and all that. So that's all she has in place. She doesn't have anything in place. She's having a lot of this burden on her own. It doesn't seem like Daemon even cares about none of this bull crap. He's going out and doing his own little thing or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and all that. Although he does show up with the actual nephew, I get, you know, her. See, it's weird because like Daemon's older than her, right? And then they ended up getting married.
He's
That
he's
can
the
happen in the
uncle,
Targaryens. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then that's her
Like she's like
younger
sister.
brother,
Yeah,
technically.
that's like her younger brother, like half
Yeah.
brother,
Yeah.
and everything else. So it's just all
Daenerys
confusing
and
when it comes to that.
Daenerys and
Yeah.
what's her name's kid?
Yeah, he shows up with that, and
Well, Allison. That's
and he talks to her for like a little bit, and then we see like she's trying to be coming in here and not being a ball of fire. She's trying to like come in, be kind of cool, I guess, a little bit, maybe do some of the stuff I talked about in our last like review. Was maybe she's gonna do that thing where she tries to be like nice, so maybe people like fall into a trap of, oh, you're nice, like um we'll just let it go or whatever. Like I'll show y'all some mercy, and maybe that she could get some people on her side or whatnot. And it looks like she's trying to do that because we also see Alicent and them aren't dead.
yeah.
You know, we saw what happens to them. They're put in a pretty damn nice room. They're being kind of kept there. She's going to let them go around the castle and stuff like that. And if they do anything, they're going to have guards, I guess, around them, making sure they ain't trying to do nothing stupid. But they're going to be treated pretty nicely overall. So, Like, what did you think about that? Like, how she's kind of treating Alicent and her daughter.
It harpens back to like all of what this kind of this whole series has been built on, kind of a little bit. Their relationship. You know, you saw it as them as little kids, and then her rise, you know, to her position, Allison's, and Rhaenyra's like, you know, kind of like rise to where she wants to be too. And they've always had that relationship that was very important at the core of this series. And so now they still have a bond, and it echoes in this episode where even like you see Allison give her some advice, and she's maybe out of all the people, she kind of heeds the advice along with her father, who plays an influential role on her thinking about who she's going to be as a queen and his thought process. But there's a lot of people in her ear, and she actually listens out, and she takes it as like a little ominous, like what are you gonna like Rhaenyra's whole thing is she doesn't want to really change. Like she saw her father not have to really change his integrity or his principles on what, and everybody's kind of tugging at her like you have to kill the kid. You have Daemon wanting to conquer the world. You have other people in her ear on how and influencing who she's going to be as a queen, and she doesn't want to change her principles like her father did. But Allison's like, well, we'll see what happens, because you're going to have to do things, to hold on to power, and be queen.
Talking about that a little bit, like her father.
Yeah.
She's trying to come in. She's obviously not forgetting her dad, like you said. The issue was with her father was he was a good man, yeah, right? And he was actually a good dude. Like he was trying to do the right things for the kingdom and making choices and stuff like that for the kingdom in good ways. Mm-hmm. Sometimes being a good person is not a good ruler. Now, I still think he was somewhat, as we saw before he died, like in the season 1 or in the season 2, but as time progressed in the show, like I thought he was a decent king, but he was also that king that like, okay, good. People liked you, all that kind of good stuff, but you let some things go you probably shouldn't. But he was that king, like a transitional king, where if let's say everything worked out perfectly, Rhaenyra would have became queen, nobody would have fought and all this stuff, right? No chaos would have ensued or any of that. Mm-hmm. If everything would have worked out perfectly, I think the kingdom would have been going on pretty good, because I think Rhaenyra would have possibly been like a okay to a good queen, and like she would probably do it in a good way. Like she's right here. In a moment of war, she's still trying to like remember what her father did and stuff like that, mm-hmm, and like treated people pretty good. But the problem was all the chaos happened, and he was not a good king for that to happen, because he led them in. He let that chaos be able to be there, right? He let that chaos able to erupt, which then kind of taints his like rule. Because even though while he was alive, everything was cool, he's the one that kind of put this whole thing in the motion with some of the decisions he made, and some of the decisions he was like not man enough to make at certain points and stuff like that when he let certain things go and all this. Like he's the reason the chaos
Daemon, like the ultimate leash, right?
Yeah, I mean he was like Daemon was doing his thing. I mean they were brothers, and it's kind of one of those tough positions. But Daemon was out there winning battles and stuff while he was just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like Daemon was doing the thing, and a lot of times the great warrior thinks, well, shit, bro, I'd go up there and be king. I get the ultimate power because I'm a badass, and Daemon is. But but him and Daemon kind of reconcile and stuff. I just think the other things, all the stuff, like him, I don't think he prepared Rhaenyra enough. Then all the things he was doing with the kids and how the fights and all that stuff and the decisions, he was too weak to make some of the strong and tough love choices. I think kind of caused some of the stuff that happened. But like I said, if Rhaenyra would have got no war would have happened and she would have gotten the place, I think everything would have been fine. But it was the fact that the chaos that happened and ensued afterwards. One thing I wanted to ask you about a certain character is like, I think her name's like the White Worm, but it's like she's now called the Mistress of Whispers. What do you think about this character? Like, it kind of being the confidant for Rhaenyra here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you just think about that character overall?
I think it's pretty interesting just for the fact that it's kind of like a relationship between all three of them, Daemon, and it's kind of a awkward, situation. Daemon, it puts, Daemon and her at odds end trying to get Rhaenyra's ear on where to go and how to manipulate her and to get what they want ultimately, or kind of steer her in their direction more. So that's an interesting dynamic. I just don't really believe that would ever happen, like that she would rise to that position and stuff like that. But it shows her resilience, her ability to come from nothing and work her way up to a position. And we all talk about the Game of Thrones and the cycle of chairs you have to go around, and you have to play the game, and ultimately
Yep.
a game of power, and to try to work your way up. And eventually, we always know that it's going to end up bad for people, right? Eventually they're going to get caught, or they're going to, they hand the cookie jar, or they're going to reach too far for power, and they're going to ultimately, screw themselves. But it's just a little bit, you have to suspend a little bit of like overall, like, would this really happen? Like, she would just rise up that much. But it's an
Yeah, she
interesting
rose
dynamic
up
overall.
fast. She rose up fast. She technically sort of betrayed him at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
there at the beginning, and now she's trying to earn that trust, and it just seems like she's trusting her way too quick.
yeah.
And all of that, it's like I'm like, all right, whatever.
Like,
Um,
you could understand why she would trace someone like Allison, and even then she would have like some trepidation with Allison. But at least they have that built-in relationship over this, seasons.
my my thing is, Rhaenyra is like this one of her flaws. She's like trusting her too much because like
Yeah,
I get trusting her before you got Daemon clearly on your side, right?
yeah,
But whenever she got her husband truly on her side, whenever he like did the whole thing at the end of episode or season 2, right? When he, came in,
yeah.
had all this men, could have did whatever he wanted to her basically at that point. He could have killed her or something like that if that's what he was really trying to do, is get power. And she showed up at the end of that season, and he does the whole kneel down and pledges fealty and everything like to her and all this stuff. Like, I ain't trying to be that. To me, her confidence should have switched more to him. Maybe still had her in the background to give some information, and maybe even to put out some things, but like her loyalty should have switched. It's almost like she's trying to hold on to this lady
Yeah.
to a certain point. And I get why you wouldn't want to take. That's why I said it would be cool for her to hang around, because I get why you wouldn't want hot-headed Daemon to sometimes be the one that's on
It's
your
the same
shoulder.
relationship
Dude.
that almost Viserys had with Daemon, right? It's like
Yeah,
you love that person, you cherish the relationship, but you have to watch that person because they're just too temperamental, too hot headed, too all about self gratification, all about self. You almost can't really trust them fully, and you always have to question their motives and stuff like
yeah.
that. So understandable to kind of keep him at arm's length, but necessarily, I don't know if she would necessarily be the best character to invest in. Maybe you would like to see Allison in that position, or somebody brought along to kind of counterbalance and kind of play that dynamic where, oh my God, I'm scared that she's gonna choose her over Damon, and they're also gonna screw Damon over and stuff like that. And it I just like with some other, maybe Christian. I can't even Christian Cole. I don't even know who he
Yeah,
was.
where's he even been at?
Yeah, I don't.
My man's been in like 5 minutes of the complete season so far. But you brought up Allison. I have a feeling, man, they might try to like. I'm not gonna like this if they do it. I think this is a dumbass thing for Nara to do if she does decide to do it, and that's like actually, she needs members for a small council, and she actually does get some advice from Allison in this episode. Like, because she's like, hey, you were basically kind of ruling things while my dad was sick and everything,
Mhm.
which Armada, baby, thank you out there, giving the
Yeah,
comment. But Viserys does get sick. But yeah, when Viserys gets sick, you got Alicent that kind of almost took really control and was handling some of the things. So she does actually ask Alicent in this episode for advice at one. I think they're going to try to like sneak Alicent, because in the story in the books, I don't think Alicent really does anything past a
hmm,
certain point. She's really almost a non-character. I think they're going to try to sneak her onto her small council.
you think so?
I just don't like that.
I
You
think they're
killed
gonna
her
do.
dad. She's part of the reason why your kids are dead, because of like what she ended up doing with the whole thing at the beginning of trying to put her son on the throne. Now that
Mhm.
wasn't a plot. She didn't know about the plot, but when she found out about the plot, she still went with it. She went along with it. She didn't try to like step up against it or any of that. Like, but she helped in that plot to put her son on the throne, and that caused all this mayhem that's killed everybody. That I just don't think you could allow that. There's no way that in a short period of time, like, so let's say this was a story that it skipped some time. There was like years in between or something like that, right?
Hmm.
And maybe over some time, maybe you could get some of that. You both made mistakes, you both lost some people, and now after being together for like 5 or 6, 7 years or something, you finally be like, you know what, I'm going to put you on the spot on my small council because I've like grown to trust you again or something. But this soon, I would not like that. I have a feeling they might be doing it.
Yeah, or does Allison have one more ace up her sleeve? Did her communication with Hightower? Is there some kind of secretive innuendo they're going to try to stab Rhaenyra in the back? And is this is all something that's going to be in play and reveal at the end, like some kind of cool twist? Or is Allison just all out of tricks now, and she's just kind of gonna play the sympathy manipulation card and say, hey, like I was gonna offer up my kids. I did everything I could to put you in power. We've been friends, and we have had a relationship for so long. And it's gonna try to do the sympathy card because Allison has to work her magic and try to get out of the situation she's in, right? Because she's behind the 8 ball right now, and she knows how to manipulate and use her abilities to bend people's ears. So you may be right that she actually replaces somehow and gets in her council or gets close to her enough to bend the ear, or is there like some kind of secret ace that she has in play? One more trick up her sleeve that gets her, and then when she rises, and then that would be, that would something that you wouldn't see coming. So I'm trying to think of a Game of Thrones kind of, ultimate twist here.
Yeah, there was a
Or she just
couple of
dies
parts.
horribly. Or she just dies
Yeah.
horribly.
Yeah, there was a couple of things that was thrown into this episode that reminded me of something in the last episode, and I like looked it up. There's like a writer that wrote these 2 episodes.
Hmm.
I'm probably not going to be super fond of them, and I think the show has a chance to get better because there's different writers as the season goes along and everything. And that's because there was a couple of things that I like caught that I was like, whatever, okay. So like, there's a moment where, in the conversation with Allison and Rhaenyra that like, there's like a heated moment, and she's like, "You're trying to blame me for what men have done," and I'm like, "Y'all played y'all's part.
Hmm.
Like y'all helped make decisions that made this even worse. So you can't just. Why was that comment even thrown in?
Well,
And then there
that's
was the weird, yeah, but there was the weird like thing where like Rhaenyra's. I don't know if you called it, but there's like a weird thing that was just kind of thrown in out of nowhere that I don't think we needed. Where like we find out Rhaenyra's that on that time of the month.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Like she's
yeah.
bleeding, and then they had to do something for that. And that just reminded me from like last episode too. And this is why I looked up the writer because I was like, there's a couple of weird things that are getting thrown in here that don't really have to be thrown in here that don't kind of even make sense. You remember the guy who like the old master of coin in the last episode who had her dead to rights or Alicent dead to rights because he knew all the information.
Oh
And for
yeah.
some reason he threw all of that away to try
Yeah.
to like assault her in the room.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere. There wasn't no build up to it. There wasn't no like he fancied her at one point, maybe in another episode before it. So maybe like his urges or something he couldn't control. But like out of nowhere, he does something really stupid just to be like to put it in there. And then this episode, it happened again to me with the like, why are we even talking about that? Is there some point to her being at that time of the month? Like, I don't know why that had to be thrown in there. I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on a couple of
Well,
those things?
the first thing makes sense to me because when you're trying to deflect blame, you necessarily got to pivot on somebody, right? And so it's
Yeah,
Allison's chance to kind of say, "Hey, we're the only women here. Like there ain't that many women here. You don't. The men are not gonna they're not gonna look at you like a powerful person. They're not gonna have your back. I'm another woman. Don't forget that. And they're just as sleazy and worse than us. Like she's trying to." Manipulate that whole situation to deflect blame onto something else,
I kind of see what you're saying
and that's kind of a smart
because,
thing
like,
for her to do it.
right, it's really rich for me for someone to be putting blame on people when she's
Yeah.
literally offering up her kids to like maybe save one or two of her other kids,
Hmm.
but she's offering up like her kids, like by how they're worth and stuff, like to her. Like she's a terrible person.
Yeah.
Like Allison's terrible. Now, it's a
But
good actress and a great character that I've liked so far. I think she has some of the best like facial expressions and stuff. Like whenever she's like even doing her acting, I think she's like give just gives off the most like with her face, just her face before she even says her lines. Awesome actress and everything, but like in the show, like she's a terrible person. Rhaenyra's made stupid decisions. Like I would say, Rhaenyra makes stupid decisions where Alicent makes just bad, almost evil. You're a mother, and you're like literally offering up like a different kid just because this kid may be a little better right now or more healthy or something like that. Like you're literally like, oh, my one son's burnt. Like he ain't living the greatest life, so I'm just gonna let you cut his head off. Like,
it's all about
and now
self-preservation, though. Like when you're up against the wall and you're thinking about your survival, you're gonna throw whoever you can under the bus to survive, right?
and then
There's two ways to go. Either I admit that I'm a terrible person, and that I try to build trust that way by being truthful and honest that I'm a terrible person and build that rapport that way, or I'm gonna deflect my terribleness and make sure you know we see politicians do it all the time, right? Oh, don't look at me. Look over here at this person who does terrible things, and don't focus on what I'm doing. And that's just a classic,
I kind of see your point. Like I get the point, like what you're talking about with the line about like just throwing all the men under the bus was like, and you're
yeah,
not even doing good things. Like, so I can kind of get the character doing that. So, but and that's a pretty good discussion to have on that. But like I said, the period thing, and then like the thing that happened in the last episode where a random dude that has everything he needs to take something down is going to literally. He knows dragons are even coming. Like he should be wanting to get the hell out of there. He knows
yeah.
he knew the information of what's about to happen and occur, and for whatever reason, with no setup, just wants to attack her for some reason. Like
Yeah,
that was just
they could
stupid.
have easily set that up, but like her, like he advancing at her at some point, and she
Yeah,
just
yeah, like in season 2 or something. They could have
yeah,
did it like in the other
just
season
real
when they were
quick,
like
like
all together. Yeah,
him lusting
but
over her. Yeah,
we got our motto over here with Alicent Kids can only save her now.
hmm
Possibly. She's only got like basically 2 left. She got 3 left, but we'll see
hmm
what happens there. Whether they want to help her or not, we just have to see. That's going to be true. And also with another comment, I guess her period and losing her son are the way to spiral, take over the crown. But I don't know. The period thing seemed like a cheap motive. It don't even seem like a cheap motive to me, Armada. It seemed like we're just throwing that in there.
yeah,
There's no point in it. Like they already had the chaos going all over the place with all the people asking for like help, and then she had to sit on the crown and even not just have the people around her asking for help and for things. Like she's getting things now asked by the common people and stuff that are allowed to come in and talk to the king, queen, whatever it is at the time, and all that stuff. So like all that stuff's kind of going around. That's already enough spiraling. It's like it's almost like, oh, we got a character. Let's just put.
to be fair,
Let's
I think
save it.
she's got the kid that made out with her, right? I think she's got kind of his ear a little bit, or his mouth, to be honest with you.
Wait, you talking about Alice? Yeah, I was talking
Yeah.
about Rhaenyra for the part with the period part, but like
No, the question
Alice,
was
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, she definitely got her son that made out with her. Like at least
Lumen.
he's like listening to her.
Yeah.
He's on her side, definitely. There's no doubt about that.
Mhm.
Queen's Court kind of got stuff going on. We got the Queen's hand there and everything else, but like with it all being said, there was one moment in here that I wanted to bring up, and that was that one lady who came in, and she's like asking for like hey, we got stuff stole from us from the nobles and everything else, so they
Oh
could
yeah.
hoard everything because all this stuff's going on and the war was happening. And she's like, but the way she says it puts you on the spot to where you almost can't say no.
hmm
Like I just thought that was like pretty creative, where you just put that other person that has the power over you,
Yeah.
you put them straight up on the spot. There's enough people here listening that can cause a problem for you. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about her. Did you have anything to say?
I just think the whole resolution to that whole problem was just amazing by Rhaenyra. The whole rat dinner, that was just had some symbolism, but it also was just like a super fun moment. Like like hey, and there's maybe some gonna be some consequences because I forgot who I mentioned it, but you can't. He was like basically you can't really treat. You gotta be careful who you treat certain ways and stuff like that. in this whole Game of Thrones kind of Game of Power situation, being in power. But the way she handled it is the way she just laid a smack down and handled that problem. I just really enjoyed that.
Now we do have the almost like not even the Three Musketeers, but what's the old guys? The Three Stooges.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they are. Even though I'm selling it short, I'm just kind of being funny here because technically the Hammer's kind of cool and Adam's kind of cool as well, like pretty stoic. But then you got the goofy guy. But they've been treated kind of like the Three Stooges because they've been a little bit disrespected here. They get their knighthood, brother. They get their knighthood in this episode. They've officially become knights. But when she gets to, we had Corlys already asked, like, hey, obviously these. It's kind of funny. He was like, hey, I don't know if you guessed or not. I'm pretty sure you have, but these are my two actual sons. I'm like, brother. And she was like, I didn't really guess. I'm like, how did you, bro? How did you not guess?
Yeah.
What's up? But anyway, he's trying to get his sons like to get his name.
Yeah.
He wants to actually give Adam, I think it was like the actual chance to be like a ruler of his castle and land that he's got, basically, be his heir. And he's like, I want you to make them legitimate. And she's kind of like wishy-washy about it a little bit. And this is the big moment right here. And I think it's so stupid and dumb. For one, this doesn't happen in the book. Okay? Just go ahead and tell you straight up. In the book, she has no qualms, no issues. She legitimizes both the sons.
Yeah.
All right? But that's not what's happening here. It's a change that I'm not liking because it makes, I think, Rhaenyra look stupid because it's one of the dumbest things. You literally just got your seat. You literally just got your throne. It looks like you may have a chance to win this thing. All you have to do is the people that have made sacrifices for you is basically to back them up. You don't need to make any more enemies. You need to make as many allies as possible and get them on your side. And in this particular moment, so the bastard name for that area is Hull. And so, like, she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
She had a chance there to say, I knight you and give him the legit name, the Valyrian name, and she doesn't. Calls him Hull. And that's because of the land. They all have different names, like Jon Snow is Jon Snow because of the North, that kind of situation. But yeah, I just think this is kind of dumb and it's different from the story. Like, I don't mind if you make changes, but this just makes Rhaenyra to me look stupid. I get there's crazy things happening, but this is one of the easiest things in the world. This dude literally lost his castles, burned into the ground, his favorite ship. He's lost treasures that he had in that ship and shit. Like, all this, and all he's asking for you to do is legitimize two of his bastards that he's like willing to bring into his family since he's lost family members. He's lost his wife. He's been loyal this whole time. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a kind of a foolish move. I don't see the point in like going, helping one of your bigger supporters and not giving them like, a little bit of a help out, situation like, hey, let's strengthen our bond. Let's, show that I'm there for you and you're there for me and, strengthen that bond and stuff. Also, you go back to when that happened. There's a scenario where now Corlys calls out Rhaenyra's kids for being bastards and stuff like that. And why do they get privilege like that? And his kids don't. Remember what happened last time that happened in front of, and Daemon automatically just killed that dude. And for her not to, silence that disrespect and that questioning now, it's just, I mean, it's not and I want to see what it plays, honestly. Like, this is opening the door for Corlys to defect, do his own thing. How does this affect their relationship? How does this affect the season? So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But yeah, like, you either got to dead the respect. I mean, that's part of what you got to learn is, becoming a new queen or king is, how to handle disrespect, how to handle relationships, and to know, because if you leave open ends in situations, they can come to bite you. And or you got to strengthen your relationships and know who to trust. And that's important. And you make kind of a mistake, making an enemy almost, or making at least a strained relationship now. And she's gonna have to find a way to kind of make it up to him a little bit. But I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I agree with some of that stuff you're talking about. Got Armada still up in the chat here with Armin could come in clutch by playing the long game with sending in the fake kid. I mean, he could. Armand's the name of the guy who's like the leader of the High Towers, by the way, of that army.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of spiraling going on already. I feel you, Justin. So yeah, man, like I obviously I agree with that, but here's the thing is like, yeah, we'll see how it plays out when it comes down to it. But you brought up something earlier, the rat dinner, because like she brings all the nobles around and stuff like that, basically to be like, y'all need to be kissing my ass kind of situation. They are sort of trying to play that game a little bit, but then they bring out the plates and it's like just rat, like cooked rat, and you know these are nobles, so they're wanting the fine wines and cheeses and shit like that, and they're not getting that. And then she kind of turns heel on them and says like, "Yo, bro, y'all all sending me money, all right?" Basically,
we're robbing you.
This is
while
her.
we're here, all here.
Yeah, we're taking your shit that you've been hoarding from the people and stuff like that. Obviously, this is going to make some people mad. This is another one of those decisions as a queen. Like, is this going to be a good one? Is this going to bite you in the ass? I think it's probably going to bite them in the ass because she literally, like, she not only tells them, hey, it's like, to me, you could have came in here more diplomatically. You could have had, like, a regular meal and been like, listen, this is the last fancy meal we're going to have in a while.
Yeah.
There's some things obviously happen. There's been an usurper. I came here to take the throne. I'm trying to be cool with you people, but y'all going to have to help me right now. You're going to have to help fill the coffers for King's Landing so that we can get everything jump started and get into a group of peace where we can all be profitable and all this stuff. She goes the other route, giving them some nasty rats to eat. And then on top of that, telling them like, you're going to be paying me a bunch of money, which is going to piss some people off. So some of these people that probably wasn't even on her side to begin with, when they find out, oh shit, I thought the battle was over, but look at Ormond over here that just took over this town, Tumbleton, and stuff that we know that happens at the end of the episode. Some of these people's going to be like, oh shit, let's go join that guy. He's got a dragon too. They might not know it's a wimpy dragon, but he's got a dragon. Like, maybe they can do something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're the rightful heir and all this bullshit because you pissed them off.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see because in essence, you're trying to be a king or queen of the people, right? You're trying to get the people on your side. You're trying to show them that you're going to do right by them, that you're going to be, you know, a good ruler, and you want them on your side. But you also got to remember all the pieces in this game, right? And sometimes you've got to figure out clever solutions to everything, you know, and the right solutions to everything, or this all could, you know, swing around and you don't realize it until it's too late. And so it's another situation, another decision where is this going to bite her, like you said, biting her ass? And
it's sad to say, but the common folk, you do want them on your side when you can get them. But sometimes, especially like in a world like this, it's set up like this, man, are they really going to save you? Or are they just going to kneel to the next person that comes in and takes your place?
And like, so like even politicians or people are like, you have to quail the people, right? You have to give them enough scraps, enough a little bit of a bit of a taste to feel important, feel you're protected, you're taken care of. But at the end of the day, you got to appease everybody in power, everybody that has influence and stuff like that, and make sure they're taken care of, and ultimately maybe even before the people in situations. So,
another thing I'll talk about this rat dinner when she like gets up and leaves, and there's this one random guy. Like it seems like I've seen him before and some stuff. I don't know a lot.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I thought he was hilarious as shit.
Yeah.
He's just standing back there smiling. She's like, you know, I'm coming to see you too. And he's like, oh yeah. We'll see how this plays out. And he's like all smiles. He's like, hey, this kind of gangster, I respect it, but I don't know if it's going to work out like you think it is. I just thought that was pretty funny, like moment. So I'm actually pretty glad with that. Then we have Rhaenyra. Her and Daemon have a pretty cool conversation about the whole situation. You know, she's bringing up her father, and then he's like, hey, me and your dad didn't get along all the time, but we was able to appease and become like friends and stuff at the end and all that. But listen, your dad's part of the reason why we're in this situation because of how he handled things. If he had handled some things more straightforward, we wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah. He always looked at his brother as kind of the weaker. He didn't understand like he was so weak and so kind of like passive in situations like that. And Daemon's obviously the aggressor, the guy that's gonna not think
he's
about things. Yeah, he's gonna just do things and just rule out of fear and power. And that's what he kind of explains to Rhaenyra is like, we got the dragons, let's go conquer the world. let's, we have, ultimate dragons. This is what the whole game of the whole thing of is power, having the power to do whatever you want, to be gods. We have a chance to show our power and might to the world. And she's reminded her father's, like, maybe not all power, too much power is possible. Having too much power is not always a good thing. And she kind of channels her father in that situation. And it sets up another situation. Like, is that going to put them at odds? Like, Daemon tries to kind of massage the situation. Like, hey, me and your dad were cool. Like, don't, we don't need to be adversaries. And I still got to deal with the other chick in your ear. So I got to make sure to not cause a friction between us, because that's how the other chick can slide in and get closer to you. So I've got to watch that situation too. So I have to massage everything with us, but I want, me personally, Daemon wants to conquer the world. He's a warrior, like you said.
Yeah.
He wants to conquer everything. He wants to have his name out there as the greatest Targaryen ever, possibly. And so he wants to fulfill all those self needs, and he did that with his brother. That was the whole narc with him, that he wanted to always fulfill his needs and his selfish needs, and his brother always, had to push back or had to play, back and forth with him. And now you're seeing the dynamic roll around possibly again with Rhaenyra.
No, yeah, good stuff right there. We got Armada in the chat. News. My homeboy right there was going to be able to pull us out here, but the rat dinner, he says, was gangster, but he also says Dan Fogler at the rat dinner played him fantastic beast. Like I said, I knew I seen him.
Yeah.
But like, then you have the fake, because we already talked about it. The fake Targaryen. Home dude was like whittling some wood, basically saved his life, because I think Rhaenyra kind of comes to his chambers. He's like full asleep, and she sees like the wood carving or whatever he had worked on, and it was almost like her seeing that possibly kept her from possibly making like a decision of killing this. And if she would have, the bad part is they probably wouldn't have ever found out he was the fake.
The funniest part is when before Daemon, they were still fighting about the whole situation, what they want to do as rulers and stuff. And he was walking away kind of mad and stuff. He's like, remember, you still have to kill a kid, right? Just don't forget that. You got to kill that guy.
Yeah.
And so that it sets up the whole dilemma of like, man, I just lost my son. Now I got to kill, someone that's actually related to me, and he's a child, and that whole dilemma. And it shows, and it tries to show you like that he's an innocent kid, like just drawing stuff or whatever. And so it sets up that whole dilemma. And then the big plot twist, of course, is that it's not actually, Allison comes in and kind of like the horror on her face is kind of like, that's not my son.
Yeah, she's out there being nice to the people, gives them some food. There ain't really nothing to talk about there. We got but the thing about that is after that scene, that's whenever she's like basically coming back from doing that. Corlys kind of intercepts her and is like, "Oh, so I see you made one of my sons a knight, but you didn't like actually, validate him for me so that he could be my heir. Yeah. You did. You united him under the name of Whole," and she gives some kind of like excuse. One of the coolest scenes in here, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's another thing that makes Rhaenyra look bad, this whole situation here. Not in the book. They're doing it for the show. Maybe they can pull it out. But if you notice, Corlys goes off on her ass.
Yeah.
And then he starts calling her sons bastards.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He starts naming them off. He does exactly, I think it was the second season or whatever. Maybe in the first season towards the end, but it was either towards the end of the first season or second season. His brother, remember, knew they were bastards, and a lot of people kind of had it was kind of rumored, but nobody really wanted to talk about it out loud. But he knew they were bastards. He didn't give a shit. You remember, he said all that stuff, and Daemon cut off that dude's head.
Yeah, Daemon was egging him on, like, say it.
Yeah. So like when he said it, he cuts his damn head off because it was Viserys the king had already said, like, you can't speak about this out loud. If you do, you're in trouble. He said, your ass is treasonous, whatever. Getting your head cut off. Daemon cut that dude's head off without any sense of anything. And this guy, even though that was his brother, even though his brother got killed like that, it's been loyal this whole time. And so he just basically spouts out the same thing his brother did when he got his head cut off. And he just announces them. And there's people standing around. It ain't just them by themselves. There's people standing around that can hear this shit he's saying, bro. He goes off. I really thought this was a strong, powerful scene by Corlys, but I think it plays into the whole thing of like, Rhaenyra, why are you so stupid?
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. I was like, it puts Rhaenyra in a situation where like you should. It depends on what kind of ruler you're going to be, right? Are you gonna? You can't really handle disrespect like that, or people calling you out in front of other people because other people think you're weak, or it calls into question your strength as a ruler. You know, Daemon right in that point. Viserys was still hopped up Poppy. He was, he pulled out his little knife and said, I'll kill you for saying that or whatever he said at that point. And Daemon just went ahead and struck him down. Um, Now Rhaenyra just doesn't possibly just gonna take it and then just roll with it, and that's what's gonna happen. And just I think it's just a situation where you're just leaving it open ended, and you don't want to leave open ends or situations like that. You gotta handle that situation right then and there.
Yeah. Uh, you know, so there goes that. The dumb thing about Rhaenyra. This is the thing that comes up. So like you have Rhaenyra, she's got the like fake Targaryen, but she doesn't know they're fake. She's trying to be cool with Alicent here. This is like a kind of a I'm going to give you a olive branch here, unless you see your son you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
He's now kind of grown up. So this is another thing though is kind of crazy about Alicent is like Alicent kind of gives up her kid, kind of on accident, but like you got to think this is supposed to be two of the smarter people in the realm that were at one time fighting for control, trying to keep their family, their part of the family
Mm.
inside and on the throne. But this is another thing that's kind of stupid. If you're Alicent, you walk into that room, no matter what that kid looks like, you act like you're the mom. Because that means your actual son's not captured and might not be killed or punished really severely. Like your motherly instincts to kick in. She doesn't even try to hide it. She like comes in there and gives like the right off the bat just the look of like, oh, this ain't my kid. I don't know who this
Yeah.
is. And that's like Rob Rhaenyra finds out that this is a fake, and then like it goes from there. I mean, there's just a couple of things that are happening with the story, with the plot, that I'm like, hey, brother, that's lazy. That's a little lazy,
Mhm.
right? And like I said, it might just be the writer of these last two episodes that's got a couple of these little quirks, because I think there are good moments in these episodes. It's not total doo-doo, right? There's just like those couple of moments that are happening that I'm like, oh man. But then when I looked it up and I was like, okay, so they ain't the same writer all the way through, so maybe it gets a little better when it comes to little things like that. But that's another thing that like the characters don't make sense to me. You're supposed to be at least decently smart.
Mhm.
Like you help do the realm and stuff. You understand you're playing the Game of Thrones here, and you basically just kind of give up your kid because now Rhaenyra knows her actual real kid's still out there now. Like, and there's something going on.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really. I mean, I don't. I don't really look at Allison as a good person. I don't. I've never seen like she's.
Yeah, but I
Very.
look at her as like a smart person that
Yeah.
would try to say the one thing I can say is like she does in a lot of ways if she thinks she can do it, tries to save her kids. Now she'll throw a kid under the bus to save the other kid that she thinks is better or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Or they can be stronger or whatnot. But like overall, she still tries to like save them.
Yeah. One of the two things I can think about is like Allison's either, like you said, self preservation of herself and who she wants to save, so she doesn't really give a shit about this kid, and it's like she'll throw the kid under the bus, which that kind of plays with Allison's character. She'll do whatever and use whoever she needs to get her in a position or to save herself, or she just ultimately just is it's like overtaken by the whole situation where you can't really control. She's not thinking that situation, right? She's overrun by emotion from thinking about, oh, I'm going to see my son for the first time, and then like, wait, that's not my son, and it's something that you can't hide that
To be honest
expression.
though, like here goes the thing though that I'll even kind of combat that with. That's why I said it's kind of like easy writing, sorta.
Mhm.
Like to me, it would have been better if she kind of gave up her son, but it was on accident because she's trying to play it off, and then like Rhaenyra knows, like, wait, there was that moment of hesitation,
Mhm.
right? I think that would have done better if it would have been like she tried to play it off as it was her kid, but then like Rhaenyra caught the hesitation and
Mhm.
realized like, nah, you're lying to me. Tell me the truth and threaten maybe death or whatever. And then she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm just trying to save my kids, whatever.
Yeah.
But like she doesn't do that at all, period. She just kind of goes in there and does whatever. But I'm also going to say in that age group, I mean, hell, I'm a father. My kid, if I sent him off somewhere and he's like 3 or 4 years old and I would have got him when he was 8, totally different.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have recognized him.
Okay.
You know, maybe it was something in the eyes or something like that, and I would be able to like have a bond with my son, obviously, because I did spend some years, and unfortunately, we had to have a gap or something there. But you wouldn't automatically sometimes recognize like because those years you change so much. Think about it, like
Mhm.
how you were at 3 or 4, and he was gone for like 5 years, so like 8 or 9. There's a big change. You grow up, you know, obviously you get taller, all this other stuff, but there's a lot of things that change with that. And uh, we got Armada agreeing with Corlys that parallel with his brother or whatever, how he says it, because he says it loud. And he's like, I ain't
Yeah.
doing whatever. He's like, Alicent could have played it as if it was her son, would have been interesting. And he's like, Alicent ain't a good mom. That's the thing though, is like there's that weird thing to where like you know as a person you're supposed to stand up for your kids even if you're not a good mom.
Mhm.
So like there's things that you will try to do to like save them. Like even if you're a bad person.
Yeah.
And like I said, she's done things in the episodes so far and in the seasons before this to where she does try to protect them. She just makes stupid and bad and sometimes almost evil choices. But with that being said, we do have, I think it's a dragon tamer from like that town, Tumbleton or whatever,
Mhm.
comes in and he's speaking Valerian. That's why I think he's a
Yeah.
dragon keeper. But he's like talking to Rhaenyra at the same time that the banners and stuff for the high towers are getting burnt behind her. She gets told basically that Tumbleton's getting burnt down. And if you remember, the Hammer asked about like his wife because he was supposed to get back up with his wife, but he couldn't find her. But then he was told that she went off to some of her family. Guess where she went?
Oh, good
Tumbleton.
catch. Good catch.
She went to Tumbleton.
Uh-oh.
So the Hammer, like, so according on to what happens, like in the next episode, there might be some blame laid against Rhaenyra, even though it's not her fault technically.
Yeah.
Like she didn't know what was going to happen, but maybe
That's his
the
main
Hammer.
thing, right? That's his whole thing about I'm trying to save my family. I'm trying to save my wife.
Yep. He loves
That's
his
not
wife and stuff.
that's
So
my
like
whole purpose.
if he blames her for not taking that army out that just burnt and ransacked the thing, and his wife, I don't know if his wife dies or not, but if she does,
I'm guaranteeing there's probably a scene where he walks in and she's burnt or something, and you just
yeah.
see the ashes, or he's overcome with grief, and that's when he goes on his own rampage, and he may be a loose cannon, something no longer you can be on your side now.
Do you think if he finds out his wife's burnt to a crisp, you think he's jumping sides immediately?
Um, Ultimately, I think and this might be a Rhaenyra situation where she lets, she kind of like, instead of, like with Corlys, instead of just killing him right then and there for the disrespect, she may take that on and leave, and then it leaves the Hammer to ultimately defect. So I think he takes time to do it, because he is kind of a man of principle a little bit. He's the kind of the guy that's gonna do right. But losing your wife and your meaning for life, and why you wanted to do all this and was taking on this like all these things, is like it's just something you could easily see that it turns a man on against what he was, what side he's on.
All right. You have any last thoughts? Something that maybe we didn't bring up to talk about?
Mm,
That's pretty much it. That's all
yeah.
that I had
Obviously,
for
it
us.
sets up the High Tower as a big, possibly a big villain or a big opposition. It's going to be
Mhm.
developing him, that he took over the town, and
Yeah, no doubt.
and this whole episode kind of sets him up, right. He fools Rhaenyra and Daemon into taking the fake Targaryen. Now he goes and takes care of that town. So now it's building up his, his reputation as like the next kind of like guy you're gonna have to go take care of.
All right. With that being said, what do you think so far of the season? Like, not just really this episode, but so far what we've gotten, first 3 episodes of this season. What do you think? Like, what kind of grade you got on it right now? Are you super enjoying it? Or are you at the like, okay, I'm good, but like, not as good as I would hope that I would be at? Where you at, Greg?
I'm really enjoying this season. I read the first two episodes were amazing. This one kind of simmered down a little bit and dealt with some things, but still had some good, very good stuff like that. I probably give it a high B at this point, a high B for me. Maybe trickling
Not
into
quite
the
at the
A.
A, but like B area.
Yeah, there's some things that I
I
didn't
got you.
like some things that I have problems with. I don't think they've necessarily balanced everybody's character enough and shown enough what there's going on with certain characters enough. But there's little gripes there and there, so just maybe high B.
Yeah, Christian Cole's disappeared. That's like a big character for people that all of a sudden now, like in this season so far, ain't did shit. Not at
Yeah, I
all,
don't I
period.
don't really like how Daemon all of a sudden just gets taken out of commission. Now he's on the sidelines, and we haven't even.
Yeah. And we didn't even see anything
Yeah.
about where he's at. They just talk about kind of where he's from. I'm a little bit lower than you. I would say like I'm at like I don't really want to say a C plus yet, but I am
Mhm.
borderline. Like I'm at B minus. I'm at the very bottom of a B. Like you're scraping by, you know, at a B. If there's some other issues, I might jump into that category there. But I
Mhm.
am still at the B level, just at a B minus. You know, you're probably at the B plus, closer to A.
Yeah.
I'm at the B, closer to C situation here because, like, there was those issues. Now I think maybe because there are going to be different writers for the episodes coming up, that maybe everything gets better and gets cleaned up a little bit. I just do think that I'm there's a couple of like plot conveniences, things that
Yeah.
happen really easy, some stuff that happens too fast, some things that haven't been set up, kind of situations here. There's enough of them building up right now that I'm having to give it a lower grade and kind of dot the score. You can survive because there are some great things and some good scenes and some stuff that's still happening that's really cool, and I'm enjoying the show overall so far. Uh, but if those other things keep building up, then it like kind of wears it down. It's like if you have one or two little plot conveniences or one or two little things that you do, maybe you throw in there I don't really like, but whatever. I can definitely like ignore those and give like a really high grade even with that because nothing's really perfect all the time.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's just those things that I thought that was kind of thrown into the show for no reason at all. Like
Mhm.
her having like what's the point of her having a period? When
Mhm.
what's the point of that guy making the dumbest decision ever to try to the assault thing in the second episode? Just to me bothers me. It's like there was no reason to do that. There's
Yeah.
other ways you could have got along. You didn't set that up. I didn't like how they didn't really set up Hightower either. Like they could have had a cool scene where it's Hightower and maybe the dude watching over him, or maybe like somebody else knew, or maybe before Loras took uh, the Aegon or Aemon, before he like left with him out of the, he like goes and talks to the Hightower, and we see a discussion between them, and like you kind of figure out how he got put down into the dungeon, that kind of thing, and like why he's there for a little bit. Maybe we could have had some interplay with that. I just think a couple of things wasn't set up very well, but I do hope, and it's not falling apart completely for me. Like I said, I'm going to be modest.
Yeah. I understand that.
With that being said, we're about to head out of here. I'm model with the last thing. I love the first two episodes. This one was a slow burn, but I still enjoyed it. Yeah, I do agree. I love some of my favorite parts of Game of Thrones is when you just have the people talking. Like you have a whole
Yeah.
episode where they're going around to different places and they're talking. Now because of the situation, in Game of Thrones in this particular episode, they kind of stayed in the same area. They really didn't go to a lot of different places. They were just there at the castle, which was they had kind of had to do that and everything. But nah, B minus for me, B plus for Big Daddy Greg, and I'm enjoying doing this with Greg, having a really fun time talking about
Hell
Game of
yeah.
Thrones and everything else, and hope that everything rolls on and stays at least at this level, or maybe even better for here on out. Maybe this show will do better in the end than the USA soccer team. It's kind of
Ugh.
tough. Had to do this after the game. With that being said, the World Cup is slimming down on games. There's obviously they're already at the round of 16. There's
Mhm.
not as many games going on to watching. The USA's out. There's nothing that's going to stop me from being able to do the actual watch along reaction like we did the first two episodes
Mhm.
from here on out. Was just kind of crazy because we also got a sports side. You can go check that out. It's Good Friends, Better Rivals, and and everything else. And this is the post credits. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for Armada being in the chat with us, baby. Hopefully we get more and more people to notice us and get up here on live and join on that conversation. We hit that algorithm that first episode, brother, and it was like, oh shit, we got 30 questions over here. Oh, and all that kind of good stuff. But that was very fun. Hope that happens a few more times before we end up House of the Dragon. And because we're having that much fun, we might throw in some other shows that we do this the same way. Basically, we're doing the House of Dragon. Big Daddy Greg was pointing out something he wanted to do pretty soon.
Yeah, Jack Reacher, man, August 12th.
He's wanting to do Big Daddy Jack Reacher. I said I'll watch Jack Reacher with him. You know what I'm saying?
That's that.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? The beards are back.
And the best way to catch us is join the Discord.
Join the Discord. You can talk to us and everything. We usually hang out in there at some points, either watching or hanging out, doing, whatever, and just hanging out. But our motto with one last one before we get out of here. Funny that the first two episodes felt like the last two episodes of that's actually what we said at the very beginning of the review, Armada, if you would have been here. We actually literally talked about that. It was like the first two episodes is basically the end of season 2, and this episode was the first episode of season 3. And I also think that they're doing at least one more season. That next season, we can't do a 2-year break. They're going to have to get that out within a year. They're going to have to put it out there within a year. I just believe they're going to have to do that because I do think the 2-year gap's just a little too much.
Yeah.
All right, peace, brother. We shall be back next Sunday. House of Dragon it up. And guys, like I said, thank you. Like, subscribe, join the Discord, do all that stuff. And with that being said, peace. We are out.
Bye-bye.